Hi, my name is Justin. I run the This Justin YouTube channel, and today I've been trying to do these kind of editorial videos where I get to talk about my favorite Broadway shows. I showed off my playbill collection, all that kind of stuff. I wanted to try something different today, and I want to pitch a Broadway revival that I've had kind of stuck in my head for a while now, and I haven't shared with anyone, just because, I don't know, maybe I think it's just a little too different from the original source material, but I think it's something that would really be interesting. But like I said, I'm going to take a lot of liberties and change basically change the whole entire setting of the show. And that show that I want to do is Into the Woods. I think this show is beautiful. I love Stephen Sondheim's work. Sweeney Todd was one of my favorite shows, and I had 3 shows when I started, like, really starting to get into Broadway a few years ago that I really wanted to see, but they were nowhere around. They weren't on Broadway at the time. But 2 of those shows were Sweeney Todd, which I saw at the Barrow Street Theater. The second one was Little Shop of Horrors, which I saw at the West Side Theater in New York. And number 3 is Into the Woods. The movie's great. I've seen the film to production. I have all, like, 5 cast albums set up on my Apple Music, and I listen to it quite a bit. And I've just had this weird, crazy idea that I wanna share with people, and I don't know, maybe you can comment down below, let me know if I'm crazy or not, but I think it's a pretty neat idea what I have. So, what I'm going to do in this video is show you guys very, very vague pictures and descriptions of the setting, the costumes, and I'm going to give a cast list. And I'm not going to do every single cast member. I'm sorry. Rapunzel got left out of my cast list just because she really doesn't. It can be any girl with a pretty voice, pretty much. You just gotta go that. She's gotta do that much better than I do. But there's nothing real special about that Rapunzel character that called for me to have her listed. And obviously, fan cast lists have these big name actors that would probably not take these little minor roles that we want them in. So, I mean, I could throw like 5 names out, but they'd all be women who had already previously starred in leading roles, and they probably wouldn't want to just jump back into that kind of minor role. So, I'm going to start with my cast list before I go crazy. So, for The Witch, I thought that Stephanie J. Block would be wonderful in this role, because at the beginning, you know, she's gonna come out in that kind of like crazy witch makeup, and later on in the show she turns into this beautiful woman, which I think Stephanie J. Block could really pull off both versions of that character very, very well. And after playing Cher, we know she can kind of play a diva, which is the witch's whole thing. For the baker and the baker's wife, I wanted 2 people who would be able to have a little bit of chemistry together, bring a little bit of a comedic vibe to it. So, who I chose that I would... One, the baker, I really do want to see Rob McClure. I think Rob McClure is just a wonderful actor. He's got this great stage presence. He does character actor very well. And I think giving him a role like this might give him a little bit more substance and oomph, which I think Miss Doubtfire is doing for him too. He's going to have a little bit more of a character development and not just the comedic guy in that. But to go with Rob McClure, I think Laura Benanti's humor would be wonderful. I think the 2 of them being able to play off each other would just be amazing. When it comes to the narrator, I'm the narrator and the mysterious man. Maybe I'm a little too optimistic about this one, but I'd love to see Nathan Lane return to a musical on Broadway, and I think this would be just the type of role that he would be able to eat up. Like, he comes out and once upon a time, right there, that I feel I can hear Nathan Lane saying that, and then singing the duet towards the end with Rob McClure would really, really be something special. Cinderella, I think someone like Cara Lindsay would really, really do this good, and I'll get a little bit more into why I think she would be a good Cinderella once I get to the setting idea and what I think the show overall would be. I don't want to quite get into that yet, but Cara Lindsay is my choice for Cinderella. When it comes to Cinderella's prince, Jeremy Jordan. I love Jeremy Jordan. I think he's I really wanted to see him in Little Shop of Horrors at Seymour, but I don't know, with this whole quarantine thing, who knows? But I think he'd be able to bring this kind of swagger and big-headedness and really, really playing over-the-top kind of cocky really well. And to pair with him as Rapunzel's prince, I think I would throw in Austin Scott, who was just recent. I've seen him in Hamilton twice, once in Boston, once in New York, and I really liked his stage presence. He would tower over Jeremy Jordan and just so easily tower over him, which I think would be a really funny comparison of like Cinderella's prince and Rapunzel's prince. Who just because Cinderella's prince, they don't call him this into the show, but Prince Charming, right? And then here comes the lesser of the two princes, and he's like towering over him. I think that would be a really, really funny dynamic between those two characters, especially when they sing the over dramatic kind of agony. I think that would be really, really fun. When it comes to the kids, I'm gonna keep them children, right? Like I said, I've seen the stage performance live, the recording of it, the original, and having the adults play these children roles, I'm not a huge fan of. So I'm gonna go Presley Ryan for Little Red Riding Hood. I haven't seen her in Beetlejuice physically, but I've seen the performances that she does outside with the Beetlejuice cast, like at the Barnes and Noble things and all that, and she's really got a great voice. I think getting her into something a little more juicy with this role would be something cool. And I'm gonna say Anthony Rosenthal from Falsettos as Jack. I think seeing those children on stage would be really, really fun. And last but not least on my cast list, I am going to cast the wolf, the big bad wolf. I'm going to go with, how do you say his name? Andy Grotuchlin. I had to double check the way I spelt the pronunciation. But after seeing his performance in Tootsie, I think he obviously is this great character actor. He's got the comedic chops, and when I get into the setting and what I want how the characters to be depicted, will kind of help you understand what my vision is for these characters. Now, I'm taking the woods out of Into the Woods. Yes, it will still be called Into the Woods, but I think setting Into the Woods in a modern day aesthetic and having the woods be kind of a metaphor for a big city, whether it's New York, LA, Chicago, it doesn't have to be like, I want that kind of dynamic on stage. And I'm no set designer, but I threw this together in Photoshop really quickly, where I've got that kind of New York skyline as a backdrop, and the stage can have movement on it where these trash barrels and light posts and vendors come through, and it can constantly be kind of moving in a circle almost to show that these characters are walking through and getting lost in the middle of a city. And one thing that I think would be very interesting and different from what other productions of this show has done in the past is actually have an ensemble. And by that I mean, no, I'm not going to take these musical numbers and turn them into ensemble numbers where they shouldn't be and add characters in where it shouldn't, but just have this kind of ensemble of people walking back and forth on stage and acting as if they're just regular city folk going to and from their 9-to-5 jobs, going to get a hot dog at the vendor cart. Just these people in the background would add, I feel like, so much more dynamic to and energy to the stage. But yeah, so the ensemble members wouldn't have a large role, but they would constantly be there for people to see. And I can just imagine Rob McClure and Laura Benanti singing It Takes Two and just trying to constantly swerve in and out of these moving obstacles like the trash cans, the vendor carts, the pedestrians crossing the street, and adding a little bit of the sound ambiance of, say, maybe like a couple car horns now and then. I think that would be a very, very interesting way to metaphorically show that these people are lost in the woods while setting it in a modern day time. Now, when it comes to costuming, you know, the witch would kind of be like almost gypsy-like, I'm thinking. They're kind of like over the top, just big hair, a lot of makeup, that kind of like really, really over the top person that you kind of want to chuckle at when you see walk down the street in New York. And then later on in Act 2, she, you know, make her look a bit more normal, like an average, like, middle-aged woman would. Maybe a pantsuit or like a nice blouse and jeans, but make her look a little bit more beautiful than what the ensemble are. We don't want her to blend in. We want her to stand out a little bit. So a little bit more flashy, but looking very, very average. When it comes to the baker and the baker's wife, I say throw them in baker's uniforms. A white shirt, the maybe like checkered pants, or white pants, whatever you want to put them. Well, not what you want to put them in, what I want to put them in. But like I'm no designer, so. But I want them to be visibly baker. You know, I don't want someone to look at them and say, what do they do for a job? I want, like, the big hat, I don't want that. I feel like that would be distracting and very hard to perform with for Rob McClure. But I'm sure he would adapt to it, but I think that would just be very distracting for the audience. So I'm going to no on the hat, yes on the whole baker's uniform. The narrator, three-piece suit, tie, you know, all the glasses. But the mysterious man, which would also be played by Nathan Lane, hobo, homeless man you see on the street. Maybe he's got a cardboard sign with something written on it, but I'd like torn up flannel. Maybe like a big poofy coat that's all ripped up and holes in his jeans and two different shoes on. Something fun like that. Yeah, we'll get a big beard for to put on him to make him look a little more homeless. But I think because that's pretty much what the mysterious man is in the original. He's the homeless guy who's living out in the middle of the woods with no one there. And in this version, he's just gonna be a little more modernized. When it comes to the children, Little Red Riding Hood, just throw a red hoodie on, maybe some like girly shorts and some like knee-high socks and some Converse or something like that. But whatever the stage version of what girls in their pre-teens wear, but we gotta have that red hoodie. And Jack, same thing. Picture what he wore in Falsettos: a striped shirt, jeans, Converse, something like that. Maybe a t-shirt or something. We don't want to go too crazy with them. And the wolf. Maybe this is where I get a little bit controversial, but the wolf is a metaphor for pedophilia. So I'm thinking Andy Grotushlin walks out on stage in his boots and a trench coat. maybe like a fedora with 2 feathers on the side to symbolize like ears or something, but just a trench coat and boots. Something, just a flasher, basically, right? I just want him to come out, and maybe it's cartoony, but he's in those 2 songs, and I think that would really set this show in like that modern, like I know no one actually leaves the house, and maybe there are those people, I don't know, I've never been approached by a flasher, but I think that would be really fun. And we could do some like staging jokes where he turns around and the coat opens up, and before he turns back around to the audience he quickly covers up, and I think that would be really, really fun. Cinderella in costume. So the way that I want her costume to be while she's still like made Cinderella is average female attire. Maybe like a tank top with a flannel over it and some like dirty sweatpants or something, because she's not, jeans I think would be a little bit too nice to wear while cleaning the house every day. Maybe throw an apron on her, some messy hair, maybe like a big messy bun or ponytail or something. But when it comes to the gown, I'm thinking a nice, sleek, kind of like white gown with some gold accents. Nothing too flashy. Just something that will make her sparkle just a little bit, but still catch attention. And like not like a big poofy dress, because I feel like that would set us too far back in time where I want it to be modernized. I think the kind of straight gown would really work much, much better for this depiction of the show. And when it comes to the princes, Prince Charming, kind of like a red blazer and real nice like 3-piece suit maybe, but it's got to have those kind of like red highlights in it, maybe a red tie or red lapels, something with red, because Austin Scott's with the Rapunzel's prince is going to be very, very similar, not exactly the same, but with purple, because red and purple are kind of like those 2 majestic colors, the 2 kind of like royal colors that people think of the most. So I think the red and the purple for those 2 would work really, really well. But I want like the 3-piece suit, or maybe like a blazer with a really, really nice shirt and tie. I want them to look like 5-star. They only go to like 5-star restaurants, 5-star hotels. They're paying the big bucks, and they, you know, like that really, really, really high-end clothing models. Some people very similar to that. But yeah. And when I said that I would get back to Carol Lindsay as Cinderella, I think with this show being set in modern time, I think modernizing a little bit of the music would be very helpful. And I could hear Cara Lindsay's kind of spunky attitude, sassy voice being put into Cinderella, especially in On the Steps of the Palace. I could see that kind of sassiness being portrayed maybe just a little bit more modernized than how Anna Kendrick played it in the movie, but a bit more energy in that song would really go a long way to help set this show in modern time. All right. Thank you very much for watching this. I hope you don't think I'm crazy for this idea. Let me know in the comments section down below if you would change any of my ideas, if you want to add on any of my ideas, if you want to let me know that I'm just a wacko, that this will never get, I know this will never get made, but like, even for thinking about this, for being made, let me know in the comments, subscribe, and have a great day. Bye.